everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we will be discussing the problem on GFG, which is move last element to front of a linked list. So let's get started. The question states that you are given the head of a linked list and you have to move the last element to the front of the linked list and return the list. So taking the example, here n is given as 5 initially, so we have number of elements as 5. So the 5 elements are 2, 5, 6, 2, 1. Now what we want to do is we need to move this last element, which is 1, to the first. That is, our output would be 1, 2, 5, 6, 2. Now taking another example, which is a basic example. If we have only one node, which is here 2, so we know that if we have one node only, then the front element and the last element are same, that is 2 only, so we will return 2 itself. So let's understand this through another example. Taking number of elements as 6 here, taking number of elements as 6 here, we have elements as suppose 5, 4, 1, 7, 3 and 9. Now what we want to do is we need to remove this element and place it at the front here. So let's make it in a form of linked list to understand better. So we have 5, 4, 1, 7, 3 and then 9, which will be pointing at last to the null pointer. Let's represent null by n here. Now considering this case, we move 9 to the front. So basically what we need to do is we need that 3 will be pointing to null, and then this would be the case if 3 is pointing to null and 9 is pointing to 5, then our answer would be 9, 4, 9, 5, 4, 1, 7, 3, and null. So overall we are disconnecting this link of 3 and 9 and moving 9 to the head of the list, and also linking 9 and 5 together. So I hope this gives the intuition of what we need to do exactly. Now let's run our code and then we can do the dry run. So looking at the code first, here is our C++ solution. If head or head next is null, we would return head, as we have in the case of list equal to 2, the head next is null, so we would be returning head simply, which would be 2. Now we have second last as null and the last node as head. So we have defined these pointers initially, and what we want is to get the second last node and last node. So we will traverse whole list till last next is not equal to null, so that we get the second last and last. So let's run this whole loop through dry run and check. For this list, we have pointer at 5. 5 is our head, and we have the last equal to head, so last is here, as it is given here, last equal to head. Now while last next is not equal to null, so last next is 4, which is not null, so we have second last equal to last, so our second last would be here only, and our last pointer equal to last next, which is here, so the last pointer moved here. Similarly, last next is now 1, which is not null, so we have our second last here and last here. Moving in this fashion, second last is here, last is here, second last is here, and last is here, second last comes here, and last comes here. Now we see that last next is null, so we will stop here itself. Hence we get our second last and last pointers. We can highlight to see better. So our second last is here now and last is here. So finally we get the second last element of the list and the last element also. Now after this we have second last next as null. So what we actually mean by this is second next is this. So second last next is pointing to null. Now we have last next pointing to head. So this is our last. We are moving it from here and we would be placing it before 5, because last is 9 and last next is head, which is 5. So last next would be pointing to head. Now this is the list, but what we want is our head, which is now 5, should be placed at 9, because our head pointer gives the start of the list and we want 9 to be the start of the list, like the first element of the list. So we will assign head to this. Which is done in the code by assigning head equal to last. And at last we return head. So we can check this code by compiling. So we can check this code by compiling, and we see that it returns the correct output. Now we can submit the code. So our code is working fine, and hence we have completed the solution of moving last element to front of linked list. Hope you guys understand this video.